السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل على أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنزل عليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة التمام وكماله. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي حسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معكم تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوزي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي حسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم إنك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ صلوات الله. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. صلوات الله. صلى على محمد. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت نعم وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم ها هو ماء ولديك تحت كساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. صلوات محمد وعلى محمد. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بصعتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ بي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وما بيديها اليمنى إلى السماء. قال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا هرب لمن هاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. أنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأسهب عنهم الرجس أهل البيت عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماعا ممنيته ولا أرضا مطحيته ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزيته ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال العمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت نبوة ومعدن رسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبالوها وبنوها. محمد وآل محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يخرجك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذنوا لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليصيب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما للجلوسين هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبي واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرون هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شياطين ومهبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرغوا. وقال علي إذا والله فزنا وفاز الشياطون ورب الكعبة. اللهم على محمد وآله. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرون هذا في محفل من محافل للأرض وفيه جمع من شياطين ومحبين وفيه محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وشفى الله غمه لا يمين ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته لا يمين. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسوئدنا وكذلك الشياطون فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك بحق محمد وأنت المحمود إلهي وبحق علي وأنت الأعلى وبحق الفاطمة وأنت الفاطر السماوات والأرض وبحق الحسن وأنت المحسن وبحق الحسين وأنت الخدم الإحسان وبحق العامة تسعة الطاهرين من ذرية الحسين عليه السلام. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
Now I would like to invite Brother Muhammad Ali and Brother Hussein Ali for a salam.
چاند کربلا کے تو نے تو دیکھے ہوں گے، اترے تھے اس زمیں پر عرش بری کے تارے، اے چاند اے چاند جلوہ گر ہے ہاشم کا چاند یہاں پر، خیرات روشنی کی لے لیجیو یہاں سے، اے چاند اے چاند اس زمیں پر رکھیو ہمیشہ ٹھنڈک، سوتے جو ہیں یہاں پر زہرا کے ہیں یہ پیارے، اے چاند تسلیم و سلسبیل و کوثر کے ہیں یہ مالک، مارے گئے جو پیاسے اس نہر کے کنارے، اے چاند حر اور حبیب جیسے جاں باز اور احبا مارے گئے یہاں پر انصار شاہ دین کے، اے چاند مارے گئے یہیں پر بے دردیوں ستم سے مسلم کے دونوں پیارے، زینب کے دونوں بیٹے، اے چاند پامال ہو رہی تھی قاسم کی لاش رن میں، عباس اور سرور چنتے تھے ان کے ٹکڑے، اے چاند بازو کٹے یہیں پر عباس با وفا کے، اذن وغا نہ پایا پانی بھی لا نہ پائے، اے چاند اس بن میں ایک بچی بابا کو ڈھونڈتی تھی، بکھرے ہوئے پڑے تھے جب سر برید لاشیں، اے چاند بازو بندھے یہیں پر پہلے پہل حرم سے کے اس سرزمیں سے نکلے، سجاد سر جھکائے، اے چاند کربلا کے تو نے تو دیکھے ہوں گے، اترے تھے اس زمیں پر عرش بری کے تارے، اے چاند صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Sheba Rizvi to the member. Please recite aloud salawat.
رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. Let's recite Surah Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله على ما أنعم وله الشكر على ما ألهم والثناء بما قدم من عموم نعمة ابتداها وسبوغ لعن نزداها وتمام منن أولاها. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خير المبشرين والمنذرين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. That was the quietest salawat in the world. We've broken the Guinness Book of World Records for quietest salawat. Let's break the record for loudest salawat. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Are the ones in the back because of COVID distancing, or are you trying to find the most back place you can sit? After you is only the wall, but in front I see all this room. Unless we're having a football match, I think that we can be a little closer together. A salawat while they come forward. Allahumma. Don't be shy, I'm not going to ask you any questions. Jazakallah, Jazakallah. ثم الصلاة والسلام على وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. You guys had breakfast, right? Okay. It didn't sound like that. All right. Now, since you guys are sitting like against the wall there in a straight line, but I'd like you to come over here, let's gather. You know what a majlis is? Majlis is a gathering. Gathering means we sit together so that I can see all of you, so it doesn't look like you're trying to run away. I'm not that scary, am I? Is it my hat? Is that scary? Let's take that off. Okay, now I am half the size. Now I'm not as tall as I used to be. And is this scary? I can remove this too. I can just wear jeans and shirt if that's what would be better. Okay. It's so good to see you again. Do you remember me from last year? And I remember all of you as well, mashallah. I had two or three topics in mind, but I wasn't sure what age group I was going to get here. So I didn't really confirm my topic until I saw uh, the ages of the ones who are sitting before me. And I think that we'll start with history. So I wanted to talk about history of the prophets and discuss some of the things that we can learn from that history and the exciting and interesting lives of the prophets. We'll go in order. So we'll start with the first one, and then we'll go from Hazrat Adam to Hazrat Idris to Hazrat Nuh, and then move downwards and see how far we can get over the next this day and the remaining 8 days after this. I'll be with you for a total of 9 days. So we'll start with the first prophet. And the first prophet, before we start, let's have another loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. And to our Imam Zamana, let's send another salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. MashaAllah. And so we begin with Hazrat Adam. Hazrat Adam is about to be created. The Quran says that Allah said that I will create a human, a man out of clay. In Arabic, the word is bashar. Bashar means man. And teen is clay. Clay is that which you use to make pottery out of. That's what we call clay, but this is a special clay. This is a clay that is based on the element that you know as carbon, because human beings are carbon based. We're mainly made of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen, right? So we see that he is making a man out of clay. When he decides to do that, the angels say, "Are you going to make that which will cause bloodshed?" Because Allah said, "I will make a man out of clay, and I will make him the caliph upon the earth." Caliph is Khalifa. Khalifa means ruler, leader, representative of Allah upon the earth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not take on a physical form. He is not something that can be physical. He created physical. He doesn't come in time and space. He created time and space. So he's not going to come before us. We can never see him. What we see with our eyes cannot be Allah. Allah created the eyes and He created everything that you can see with your eyes. So if you hear something, see something, feel something, that is a creation that is not Allah. So He decided that there needs to be a Khalifa upon the earth and there should always be a representative upon the earth. This representative is going to know the will of Allah, is going to have all the powers that Allah wants him to have, and all the knowledge that Allah wants him to have, and he will be able to rule and guide the people. There is never a moment in time when there is not a representative of Allah upon our planet. Do you know who the representative of Allah is right now upon planet Earth? Go ahead. Yes. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Very good. There's a name that you just said right now that begins with the letter M. And he has other names as well. He has the name Al-Qaim because he is the one who will uphold. Qaim means to make a foundation, to make a standing, a pillar, something that will uphold the religion. He is also Al-Muntazar, the one who is being awaited. And he has many other titles like Imam Zamana, Sahibul Asri was Zaman. I want to give you a little warning about the name that begins with the letter M. Sometimes we see that name is used a lot, but that name we need to be very careful with. Let me tell you one time about a Sahabi who was talking to our Imam, and he was talking to Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. As-salatu was-salamu alayh. Can we have a salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Do you know how powerful salawat is? Salawat is something that Allah does as well. He says in the Quran that I do salawat, therefore, O you who believe, you should also do salawat. When you read that verse, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu, that says, indeed, Allah and the angels are also doing salawat. So therefore, all the mu'mineen should also do salawat. You know what salawat does for you? It causes forgiveness for you. It increases your strength, your yaqeen, your conviction, your iman, your knowledge. It improves, most important effect on your brain, it improves your memory. So it's always important to do salawat in a way that's from your heart. Don't do it like it's something that you have to do. Do it like it's something that you want to do. You know, when you're excited, your face lights up and you smile and you say it very loud. So that's one of the most important things. The other important thing is that whenever you hear the name of the Prophet, it is wajib upon you to send a salawat. And it should not be a lazy one. It should be a loud one. It should be one that's filled with love for the Ahlul Bayt. So one time, sitting in front of our Imam was a man who gave the name of our 12th Imam. He was sitting in front of the 6th Imam. He asks the 6th Imam about the 12th Imam, and when he asks him, he says his name. I'm not going to say it right now for a reason. When he says his name, the name that begins with the letter M, you know what that is. You don't need to say it. Let me spell it. Mahdi, as we spell it in English, right? When he says that name, the 6th Imam, as soon as he hears the name, he stands up. And then he sits down again. That was a little strange for the man who was watching him. He didn't understand. Why is the Imam standing up and then sitting down again? And he wanted to ask him about the time of our Imam and what's going to happen. So he asked another question and again said the name that begins with the letter M. At that time, the Imam stands up again a second time and then recites salawat and then sits down. And then the third time, now the man is pretty sure, although he's not 100%, but you know what he's thinking now? Now he's thinking, it seems that whenever I say this name that begins with the letter M, our Imam is standing up. So he wants to confirm. So he asks a third question, and this time again he says the name. Can you guess what happens when he says the name a third time? That's right. The Imam stands up for a third time. And now the Imam says that if you keep on saying this name to the day of judgment, I will stand up every time you say it. Do you see what that's telling you? That is telling you this name comes with a great deal of respect. This name is something that we should not say until we are standing up. So that is very important. That is a lesson that I want to ingrain in you. Because although it is a narration, it is a hadith, and we see it in various books like Kamaluddin by Sheikh Saduq, which is mainly about our last Imam. But still, people don't pay attention to this. They say the name very casually. The Prophet's name needs to be said, and always after that a salawat. And when it comes to our Imam's name, we always need to say it and stand. I'd like to practice that with you right now. Would you mind if I practice that with you right now? Okay, I'm going to say the name and we're all going to stand. Then we won't forget. Then anytime we hear this name, we're going to stand, right? So, as-salatu as-salamu alayka ya Imam al-Mahdi. Ajjallahu farajahum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Jazakallah. Please have a seat. Very important. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see all of us standing at his name because we do not give that respect that we need to give. Do you know what happens in human psychology in our mind when we're told to bear a name with such reverence, with so much respect, that we're very careful when we even utter it, when we even say it? What happens is when you tell somebody don't say a name, you know what they do? They say it. When you tell somebody don't say a name, they think about it. Whenever you say don't do this, there's more chances for doing that. So what this does is that causes us to think more and more about this name. So that's reverse psychology. The other advantage of making this name so honorable and esteemed is now you will be in the practice. Because on Zuhur Day, they say that Zuhur is supposed to happen on a Friday. Of course, some of the signs, it's possible the narrations may have not reached us correctly. It's possible that some of the signs may be a little changing as time passes, or maybe we have misinterpreted them. But one of the signs of Zuhur is that it is on Friday. And another sign is it's on the 10th of Muharram. And this 10th of Muharram is coming on a Friday. Now, I don't know if the Zuhur will happen. Allah knows. But it means that we should be a little excited and anticipate it, and we should wait for it. We should actually wait for it every year, because we never know when it could happen. We should wait for it every day. But still, many of the signs are coming true, so that means that it could happen now, it could happen in 10 days, it could happen in next year, it could happen in your lifetime. And when we look at Hazrat Adam, he's the Khalifa of Allah on earth, the first one. So what happens is we see that Hazrat Adam is going to be created. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala causes Hazrat Adam's clay to be made, and as it's made, it is put into the shape of a human being. And it is being shaped for about 40 days, they say. It took 40 days to shape Hazrat Adam, the first human. Some of the narrations say that our lineage, which leads back to Hazrat Adam, is not the first Hazrat Adam. In fact, he is the 70th Hazrat Adam. That could mean literally 70, or it could mean there's a lot before that. So it is not necessary, if that narration is true, it is not necessary that we are the first lineage or this is the first Hazrat Adam. That may be important because excavation now that they are doing in archaeology, They are looking deep under the earth and they are finding fossils that are from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now, if we count the years from Hazrat Adam up to the flood of Hazrat Nuh, going on to Hazrat Ibrahim, Ismail, Isaac, and going all the way to Hazrat Isa, and then our beloved Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad al Mustafa, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Yeah, I was testing you. You kind of passed because what did I just say? That whenever you hear the name, always salawat. That means even if you're at home, even if you're in front of the television, even if someone says it on the dinner table, you're walking outside on the streets with your friend, it is not something that we can do if we feel like it. It is wajib that we have to recite salawat whenever we hear his name. So that's very important. And then what we see is that maybe that's about 7 to 10,000 years. So Hazrat Adam maybe came to earth 7,000, 10,000, maybe 15 to 20,000, but hardly more than that. So now they're finding human beings, human fossils and skeletons that are, they're saying, 100,000 years old. They use carbon dating to date those fossils, and they're saying they could be much older. So then they say, well, whatever it says in the Bible or the Quran is wrong because that is only talking about a story that's maybe 10,000 years old. What about all those fossils we're finding from 100,000 years? Well, we're not claiming that this is the first Adam. This may be the 70th Adam. That means since the earth was made, it has been circling the universe, and the universe is so massive, it probably hasn't even taken one circle yet. Our solar system, which is circling the galaxy, and the galaxy is circling the universe, and our solar system is circling that galaxy. So everything's turning in circles. The earth is revolving, the moon is revolving around the earth is revolving around the sun is revolving around the galaxy, the center of the galaxy is revolving around the universe, and we see that it is all spreading out and moving in an evolutionary pattern. So or I should rather say, revolutionary pattern, it is circular. So when we say that, it is possible that this is not the first Hazrat Adam. And it may be that this will continue until the expiry date of your sun. We know that every star is meant to expire, and then it will basically expand and collapse upon itself and pretty much take with it all of the solar system. That may be the indication of Qiyamah. That may be even how Qiyamah is described is something similar to what we expect from the expiration of a star. So Hazrat Adam, with his clay, is formed in 40 days, and then Allah says to the angels that I will blow my spirit into Adam. And when I blow my spirit, that means he will bring Hazrat Adam alayhi salam to life. And he says to the angels, as soon as I bring him to life, you must bow down in prostration, which we call sajda. You must all do sajda. So then he blows his spirit. At that time, all of the angels do sajda, but there is one who doesn't do sajda. Who is that? Iblis, illa Iblis. Very good. Iblis does not do sajda. When Iblis doesn't do sajda, Allah asks him, why did you not do sajda when I told everyone to do it as soon as I blew my spirit into Hazrat Adam? Iblis says that I am superior to him. You created me from fire, you've made him from clay. Allah says that you have shown takabbur, kibr. That means arrogance. That means you think that you are better than him when you are not. Arrogance is when we think we are better than we are. Arrogance is when we think we're the best even though we're probably not. What's the opposite of arrogance? Humbleness. Allah likes humbleness. That means even if you are the best, going around screaming it and saying I'm the best, I'm number one, and I'm really good and you're really bad, is not something that Allah considers as good manners. So then Iblis, what happens? Allah says, you must go from here. He removes him from his kingdom, and Iblis is sent down. Iblis goes down to heaven, because this is happening at the level of the arsh, which is above heaven. Because you have the arsh, then you have the heavens, then you have the universes. So there's an order over here. So now we see Iblis comes down to heaven. Hazrat Adam at that time now is in front of the angels, And Hazrat Adam also is sent to heaven. Hazrat Adam goes to live in heaven. At that time, Hazrat Adam is walking around in heaven and he notices that many angels are following him. And he says, "Why are these angels following me and looking at me like this?" Allah says, "You have a nur that is emanating from your forehead." And Hazrat Adam says, "What is this nur?" And Allah says, "That is the nur of the names that you took." Because Hazrat Adam was questioned by Allah. As soon as he was created, he was questioned because he was tested. Life is a test. As soon as we come to this world, we're giving a test. This world is a testing ground for you. It might not seem like that. Right now, when we are young, everything can seem like fun and games. But later, as we get older and older, we realize that life is nothing but a test. We are here for but a few moments, and then we move on. We might be here for 60, 70, 80, 100 years. Maybe someone will live for longer than that. But compared to your actual time, that is very, very little. And therefore, you're basically here for a brief moment, and then you move on. Now, when Hazrat Adam is in front of the angels, Allah says to the angels that when they say, "You are going to put upon the earth someone who's going to cause bloodshed and going to cause wars and battles," because the angels had seen other creations on earth, like the jinn. The jinn were here before us. So they also had many fights and many wars and many battles. There's many of them still here today on the earth, although they are made of an element that we don't see, so they're not visible to us. I've never seen one. People get very interested in them. I don't know much about them. If I can't see them and if as long as they don't bother me, it doesn't really matter too much to me. I haven't really gone too much into research upon jinn. But they're supposed to be here, as the Quran says. And so the angels knew that there were going to be creations on the earth that would fight each other, fight over land, fight over wealth, fight over money. They would spread hatred instead of love. They would cause problems instead of peace. So the angel said, "Oh Allah, why are you going to send people on the earth who are going to do all that bloodshed again?" And Allah says that I know what you don't know. I know what you don't know. Sometimes your parents say that to you, something similar to that. Whenever you object, "I want to do this," and your parents say no, then sometimes they say, "Well, when you're older, you will understand." And then you say, or maybe you don't. I remember I used to say, "Parents don't understand." And they're always saying that when you're older, then you will understand. Guess what I found out when I got older? That that's true. They actually were right. There's many things that you understand with experience, things that you will learn as you gain in wisdom. So as time passes, your perspective changes. Now the angels were standing before Allah and they were objecting to Adam, Hazrat Adam being made and being made a caliph. They said, "We should be the caliph. We should be the leader because we're not going to fight." But Allah said to the angels that I have put in Adam something that you don't have. There is a special knowledge in him that I have given him, and you don't have that knowledge. So that means that knowledge is what makes us more superior to each other. So then we see that Hazrat Adam is asked a question. First, Allah asks the angels the question. Hazrat Adam and the angels are told to look at the arsh. The arsh is the sky upon which the throne of Allah is sitting. And when they look up at the arsh, they see stars. There's basically 5 shining stars that they see. And at that time, Allah says to the angels, "What are those stars?" The angels say, "We don't know. We only know what you have taught us. We are not aware of the names of these stars." And then Hazrat Adam is asked by Allah, "What is the names of those stars? What is the name of those?" Nur is what they were called. I'm saying star, but they were basically Nur. Nur is, you know what Nur is? Light. Very good, very good. You guys are geniuses. You know every answer to every question I ask. Nur. So when he looks upon them, he says, that is the Nur of Hazrat Muhammad. Ma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Excellent. And then he says, that is the Nur, and he mentions the name, and he says, and you are Mahmud. That means he is naming the Prophet and he is naming Allah. He is recognizing Allah by recognizing the Prophet. He knows the nur of Allah will lead to knowing and knowledge about, he knows the nur of the Prophet will lead to knowledge about Allah. And then he says that second nur is Ali. Humma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. And you are Aliul A'la. And then he says that means Ali is the, Muhammad means pray, the one who is praised, and he is the one who praises Allah. Ali means the one who is elevated, and Allah is the most elevated. Then he says, Hada Fatima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He points to the nur of Bibi Fatima and he says, and you are Fatiru samawati wal ard, which means you are the maker of the heavens and the earth. And then he points to the fourth nur and he says, Hada Hassan. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Wa antal muhsin, that is the beautiful nur, and you are the creator of beauty. And then he points to the fifth nur and he says, Hada Hussein. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Wa anta qadimul ahsan, and you are the originator of all that is good and that is the best. So he names the five Panjatan. These are the first names that were taught to Hazrat Adam. That is why your parents taught you these names first as well, because your forefather Hazrat Adam, these were the first names that he learned. And that was the knowledge that he had. It was the knowledge of the Ahlul Bayt that made Hazrat Adam superior to the angels. Because we see the angels did not do, Hazrat Adam was not asked to do sajda to the angels. Rather, the angels did sajda to Hazrat Adam. Then they go to heaven, and in heaven they are going about the gardens of heaven. They're not in the heaven that we are set to go to after Yawm al-Qiyamah. They were in a lower place of heaven that is called, we call it the Garden of Eden as well. Eden, Eden. This is the heaven that is below the heaven where we're supposed to end up eventually. It's almost like a temporary place. And they go there, they are roaming about the gardens, they are eating, drinking, sleeping, having a good time. But one time we see that Bibi Hawa, the wife of Hazrat Adam, who is called Eve in English, Bibi Hawa salamullah alayha is sitting and a snake approaches her. This snake that approaches her says to her that, how do you like your time that you're having over here? She says, this is a beautiful place. Allah has honored us and we really love this heaven. The snake says, would you like, coming in the form of a snake sounds kind of scary. If a snake came up to you, maybe I would probably run away. Maybe I'd hit it with my shoe because I'm afraid it's going to bite me. But that was the Garden of Eden, and I don't think that they had developed any kind of fear of things. So when she saw the snake, she thought it was just a regular reptile, or snakes reptiles. Yes, I'm forgetting my middle school biology, but some reptile seems like maybe he's a nice guy. I don't know. So she's talking to him. So he says that, do you want to stay here forever? And he says to Bibi Hawa, and she says, yes, of course. I definitely want to stay here forever. So he says, well, you can't stay here forever. Allah is planning to remove you from here unless you eat from that tree. Now, she had been told, and Hazrat Adam had been told by Allah, not to eat from the tree. That means they were allowed to eat anything except for one specific tree. And so, when he tells her that, she gets a little confused because now she's thinking that, why would this person lie to me? She has not heard a single lie yet. She wasn't even aware that there would be people that lie. Now it's pretty normal, right? People lie all the time now. We see it happening. This was heaven. People didn't lie there. She had never seen anybody lie. So she trusted the serpent. And when the serpent said that you will have to eat from this tree, otherwise you will be removed from this place and you will be sent somewhere else, she got a little fearful. And she said to Hazrat Adam when he came that, I've been told that if we don't eat from this tree, then we will be removed from this earth. It is said that eventually they did eat from the tree. Now, this is, you know who the serpent was, right? Who was it? Very good. It was Shaitan. What was Shaitan doing? If you take a close look at what Shaitan was doing with them, was that he was shaking their confidence. That means they should have believed that they would stay upon heaven forever, but he was convincing them that no, they won't. That's what Iblis does to us. He shakes our confidence. He will make you think you are not that good a person. He will make you think that you are not loved by Allah. He will make you think that you are a bad person. And that shakes your confidence. But if you have strong iman, you will never think that. Some people doubt themselves. Right now, you are young. As people reach teenage years, they start thinking, oh, I'm not that good looking. Nobody's going to like me. That's something that people think in their teenage years. Oh, look at that person. They're better. They look nicer than me. They're stronger than me. This one's taller than me. This one is more popular than me. This one gets better grades. We tend to start getting within us jealousy. We tend to start getting self doubt. You should always remember that when you look at something that's expensive, like some people like to have, you know, this brand of jeans, this brand of shoes, this brand of tablet. I want that tablet. Why? Because that tablet's the best. I want these jeans. I want those shoes. Do you ever do that? Are you old enough to start liking brands yet? When we're very young, we're not very brand conscious. Any of you brand conscious yet? No? I want this car. Then we'll start saying, I want to live in that area. We start wanting things that we think will give us confidence in ourselves because we lose confidence in ourselves. If a car is made by BMW, it must be a good car, or Mercedes, or Audi, because those are good brands. What's a good brand for shoes nowadays? I don't know. What are cool shoes? Any cool shoe brands? Jordans, there we go. Thank you. So we want those. I'm not saying that you shouldn't wear nice shoes if you want Jordans, wear Jordans, but they should never make you think that they are going to increase your value or that you will not be cool until you have them or that you will be, you know, more loved by Allah if you wear Jordans or if you have this phone or that jeans or this game or that bike. Because what happens is Shaitan will always whisper to us that we are not worthy. We do not have value. But who made Jordans? Well, Michael Jordan did, didn't he? I grew up. No, you don't know who that is? Well, you see, my teenage years, I grew up, that name you just mentioned, he was a famous basketball player that I grew up idolizing. I used to play basketball to be just like him when I grow up. So that's before your time. But now, you know, you have other players with other names. I haven't watched sports in 20 years, so I don't know what's the latest. But I can tell you, see, now the brand is there, but the player not even known anymore. How powerful is a name? And so, you know, we give value to it because it is associated with a certain name. But you are associated with a certain name as well. I mean, didn't somebody make you? And it was Allah who made you. That's the best brand. If I were to say brand, it's not a brand, of course, astaghfirullah, but you know what I mean. That's the best creator. So if that's the best creator, that means that you are already made by the best. There's nothing that's going to make you better. You are already awesome. You are made by the greatest creator. You are made by Allah who is Akbar. So that means it's very important to realize your value. Realize that shaitan will try to make you doubt yourself, but know that Allah believes in you because He created you. All you have to do is believe in yourself. So do not attach your value to what you wear, to what shoes you have, to what digital device you use. Attach your value to what you have in your heart. And what is the most valuable thing that Allah gives to the people who believe in Him? Love for the Ahlul Bayt. If you have love for the Ahlul Bayt in your heart, then you are already the most valuable thing on the planet. So always keep that in mind. And can we have a salawat, please? Begging your pardon, that watch is a little 2 or 3 minutes behind, but I'll be brief for the remaining just a couple of minutes. And historically, today we will be discussing the arrival of the Ahlul Bayt in Karbala. And it is said that in that long and tiresome journey, that journey through the heat and desert, eventually there came a point where Imam Hussein's horse stopped and would not move forward. Imam Hussein called Hazrat Abbas and said, "O Abbas, this is where we will be staying. Tell all the people to get off the camels and start setting up the tents over here." It is said the tents were set up. As the tents were being set up, Bibi Zainab looked at her, called Imam Hussein. And when Imam Hussein came to Bibi Zainab, she said to Imam Hussein, "Oh, my dear brother, I can smell your blood in the wind and the sand of this place. We should go from here. This place is not safe for us." Imam Hussein says, "This is the place that Allah has willed, where we will stay, and we will be here until Ashur." So historically, they arrived around the 3rd of Muharram. But today's the 1st, but we'll be starting with that. It is said then that Imam Hussein set up the tents, Hazrat Abbas set up the tents, and Imam Hussein went and sat down and then asked the local tribes people to come and talk to him. When they came to him and sat down, he looked at them and said that I am Hussein, the son of Ali and Fatima. I am the grandson of the Holy Messenger, and I want to know what this land is called. One man came forward and said this land is called Shatul Furat. One man came forward and said this land is called Al-Mariya. There were a few different names given. Imam Hussein said, "This is not the name that I am looking for." He said, "Call the eldest amongst you." When the eldest one came, Imam Hussein asked him, "What is the name of this place?" And he said, Karbo Bala. He looked at Imam Hussein and said, "You are the son of the Prophet. Whenever prophets or sons of the prophets have come here, they have always faced hardship. O grandson of the Prophet, do not stay here. You should go from here as soon as possible." Imam Hussein says, "I would like to buy this land." So he buys the land from the local tribe. And then Imam Hussein says to them, after buying the land, he says that I give this land back to you on the condition that when the battle takes place on Ashur, after that you come and bury us. And the second condition is that whenever anybody comes to visit my grave, you and your descendants will treat them as guests for 3 days. After saying this, Imam Hussein looks and calls the men. When the men come forward, Imam Hussein says to them that after a battle will take place here 1 week from now. When that battle takes place, me, all my companions, and many of my brothers and children will be martyred. He says, the enemies will leave our bodies lying in the sun. I would like you to come and bury us. He takes that promise from them and then they go. After this, Imam Hussein says to them, now call your women. When the women come forward, Imam Hussein says to them that it is possible that the men may not bury us out of fear of the army, but perhaps the army will not say anything to you. And he says, oh, know that I am the son of Fatima. And the women knew Fatima very well. And as soon as they heard the name, they started to cry. And as they were crying, Imam Hussein says that if your men are too scared to bury us, then please come forward and bury us. After this, Imam Hussein sends the women away and says, please call your children. The children come forward. Imam Hussein says, I am the father of Sakina and the father of Ali Asghar. Imam Hussein says to the children that it is possible your fathers may not bury us out of fear, and your mothers may not bury us as well out of that fear, because the enemy will be very vile. He says, "But you, O children, perhaps they will say nothing to you. So if your parents do not bury us, then come towards our bodies with the excuse of just playing and wandering, and then take some sand at least and put it upon our dead bodies. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ أَلَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ مَاتَمِ حُسَيْنٍ."
Now I would like to invite Brother Hussein Ali and Brother Muhammad Ali for the Noah.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. میرا نانا نبی، میری ماں سیدہ، میرا بابا علی، میرا بھائی حسن، ہم ہی ہیں پنجتن، ہم ہی ہیں پنجتن. میری کیا ہے خطا، میری کیا ہے خطا، میری کیا ہے خطا، میری کیا ہے خطا. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. کیا میں زہرا کا جایا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں زہرا کا جایا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں زہرا کا جایا نہیں ہوں. کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. میرے نانا نے کلمہ سکھایا اور قرآن تم کو سنایا. میرے نانا نے کلمہ سکھایا اور قرآن تم کو سنایا. کیا میں نانا کا سایہ نہیں ہوں، کیا میں نانا کا سایہ نہیں ہوں، کیا میں نانا کا سایہ نہیں ہوں. کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. وہ مدینہ جہاں میرا گھر ہے اور مسجد میں اس گھر کا در ہے. وہ مدینہ جہاں میرا گھر ہے اور مسجد میں اس گھر کا در ہے. کیا میں اس گھر میں کھیلا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں اس گھر میں کھیلا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں اس گھر میں کھیلا نہیں ہوں. کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. چکیاں پیس کر ماں نے پالا، مجھ کو نانا نے جھولا جھولایا. چکیاں پیس کر ماں نے پالا، مجھ کو نانا نے جھولا جھولایا. اپنا بچپن میں بھولا نہیں ہوں، اپنا بچپن میں بھولا نہیں ہوں، اپنا بچپن میں بھولا نہیں ہوں. کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں. کملی والے کے لب چومتا تھا، کتنا پیارا میرا بچپنا تھا. کملی والے کے لب چومتا تھا، کتنا پیارا میرا بچپنا تھا، کیا میں ان کا دلارا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں ان کا دلارا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں ان کا دلارا نہیں ہوں، کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں، مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں، مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں، میں جو پانی کبھی مانگتا تھا، کیوں تڑپتی تھی ماں اب میں سمجھا، میں جو پانی کبھی مانگتا تھا، کیوں تڑپتی تھی ماں اب میں سمجھا، پاس اصغر کے جاتا نہیں ہوں، پاس اصغر کے جاتا نہیں ہوں، پاس اصغر کے جاتا نہیں ہوں، کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں، مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں، مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں زہرا کا جایا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں زہرا کا جایا نہیں ہوں، کیا میں زہرا کا جایا نہیں ہوں، کیا نبی کا نواسا نہیں ہوں، تے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں، مجھ پہ کیوں بند کرتے ہو پانی، کیا محمد کا پیارا نہیں ہوں، یا حسین یا حسین۔
خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، جس مہینے میں لہو ریت پہ بچوں کا بہا، جس مہینے میں لہو ریت پہ بچوں کا بہا، آج اس ماہ غم و ہم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، آج اس ماہ غم و ہم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، اس مہینے میں ہوا فاطمہ کا گھر تاراج، اس مہینے میں ہوا فاطمہ کا گھر تاراج، ماہ قتل شاہ عالم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ماہ قتل شاہ عالم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، رات سے گریہ زہرا کی صدا آتی ہے، رات سے گریہ زہرا کی صدا آتی ہے، آج کیا ماہ محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، آج کیا ماہ محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، چاک کر ڈالو گرے با سر و سینہ پیٹو، چاک کر ڈالو گرے با سر سینہ پیٹو، سوگوارو یہ ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، سوگوارو یہ ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، خاکوراؤ کے محرم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، ابن زہرا کے ماہ غم کی ہے پہلی تاریخ، یا حسین یا حسین۔